things right along with Kyle Foust. He's also running for the congressional seat. Mr. Foust.
I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight. It's a pleasure to be here. When you look at this election, it really comes down, in my opinion, to three things. It comes down to experience, it comes down to change, and it comes down to electability. When it comes to experience, there's nobody else in this particular race for Congress that is running that has elective office experience, and I think that's a strength. I think that's a real important strength. I ran in a district that is almost identical to this congressional district, my council district. It's out in East County. When you look at voter registration, you look at other demographics as far as blue collar, white collar, men and women, it's almost identical. I got outspent 2-1 by the Republicans, and I won with 60% of the vote. That's because I had a message that sells, and that sells to a lot of different constituencies. And I have the experience of working with community leaders. We brought back our Human Relations Commission. That was a campaign promise I made. I know that's important to this community. That was a campaign promise I made in a district where that isn't something that necessarily you walk around with and say that's the badge of honor that you have, because we have a lot of people that I would say are less enlightened than I wish they would be anyway, all right? But they knew that an issue of fairness to the gay and lesbian community, we need to reinstitute the Human Relations Commission. I demanded it was going to be done. I promised it would be done. It took us longer than I'd hoped, but it took us about 1.5 years, and we finally have begun to re-implement that. And we're leveraging our local tax dollars for 3 times the amount of tax dollars that we put into that to teach people not to discriminate to begin with. And that's the important thing to keep in mind. That's what government needs to try to do. I have experience with working with business leaders as far as trying to get our convention center project off the ground. That was languishing for a couple of years. I worked with the business community and the labor community to demand that a project labor agreement be part of that construction project so that local labor hands put that thing together. And that hundreds of jobs were created. And the money that those people earned was pumped right back into our economy. That's the type of experience leader we need to go to Washington, because that's not happening right now. Our jobs are going overseas. I've worked with leaders, community leaders, as far as my regional assets plan. We're going to get the airport done. I was the first one to put money on the table to really, pardon the pun, get that project off the ground. And it's going to happen here within the next few months. I was determined not to come on Erie County Council and be a backbencher. I was there to make change in Erie County. We were raising taxes and lowering services. I wanted to change that around. I wanted to stabilize the taxes, but solidify and expand our services if we can. And one thing I'm very proud of as an educator, we have put the Erie County libraries on the firmest foundation they've ever been. And I think I had a lot to do with that by the things that I pressed for in my election. And once I got elected, I demanded and absolutely refused to be denied that those things get put into place. And I'm quite proud of that. When you look at change, change is something the electorate wants right now. I'm certainly somebody who has the experience again of bringing in change at the local level. I want to do that at the federal level as well. I'm going to be a drastically different leader. I should say drastically different representative than Phil English, because he's not a leader. I'm going to stand up for the rights of the gay and lesbian community. I'm going to stand up for a woman's right to choose. I'm going to stand up for the business community and labor. The Convention Center project proved, as a Democrat, you can be pro-labor and pro-business. They're not mutually exclusive goals. We need the type of leader to go down to Washington to implement that type of change. I was the first of the 4 congressional candidates. Only 2 of us have signed on, as far as I know, for the responsible plan to end the war, which is based largely on the Baker-Hamilton Commission, which is our best roadmap to get out of that mess. For all the talk about military progress in Iraq, there has been no political progress, and there is not going to be any until we finally get our troops out of there. You look at the economy, I think basically all of us agree on the economy. Green technology is the way to go, but as an educator, I think I have an inside track on this one, because education is going to be the key to that. We have a very skilled workforce. We need a leader who believes in our public schools. I'm a product of public schools. I have 2 teaching certificates myself. I continue to work in education. I've dedicated my life to education. That is where a lot of those things, the jobs are going to be created and sustained in the future. That's going to be a strength of mine. And universal health care, I think I have the most realistic plan to actually get passed. The moment has arrived to get universal health care in this country. There's a lot of different ways to achieve that, but we're going to have to do it in a realistic way. There's 4 or 5 different non-negotiables in my opinion. It has to be universal, it has to be portable. So if you lose your job or want to change your job, or strike out as an entrepreneur and try some new idea, you're not going to have to worry about taking care of your spouse or whoever, or your own health care anyway. You can go out and imagine the entrepreneurial spirit we can release because we put to bed the health care issue in this country. When the president of General Motors says, I'd rather make cars in Canada than the United States, that should be a real red flag the way we do business around here. And then lastly, electability. I think this is the most important thing when it comes right down to it. Because if we don't elect a nominee this spring that can go on and defeat Phil English in the fall, this has all just been talk and a big debate. For 30 years, we have sent a nominee forward who has not been able to take on the Republican nominee and win. I feel quite honored in some strange way anyway. The Republicans were at my announcement. Nobody else had that honor, the 4 that are running. They're more worried about me than any other. Because they know I have a record that can galvanize Democrats. My father's a 2-time party chairman. There's very few families in this county that have devoted themselves more to the Democratic Party than the Foust family. And standing up for the rights of working people and the people that have been disadvantaged in this area. And I'm going to continue to do that in Washington. Nobody has the record and the experience to attract independent Republicans. Independents and moderate Republicans, I'm sorry. I don't pledge to you that I can do that. I don't promise you I can do that. I've done that. And that's very important. We need to make sure we put forth a nominee that's going to be able to win this race. With your help and support, we're going to do that. I need not just your vote tonight. I need your friends' vote. I need your neighbors' vote. I need their neighbors and their friends' vote. This is going to be a very important election, but with your help and support, we're going to get there. Thank you.
Kick it live with the CLB. Hey yo, that be the DJ rolling with me.